Hi everybody, I'm here like usual. Do you ever eat food, just get like some sort of sustenance or calories or accumulation of nutrients to be the functioning organism we know and love you for being for? I'm human. Probably. I eat food every once in a while. It's a good deal. I really like that we have this universal social thing that justifies doing a lot of stuff. You and some friends want to go to a movie? Why don't you get some food first? Gotta go see a family relative? How about you guys go grab something to eat? It's like the greatest straight man of all time. Not to mention, in terms of things we got to eat, we got sweet things, salty things, spicy things, an entire industry on making foods of all pricings and cultures and culinary expertise. Not liking food is the same as saying you don't at least tolerate blue as a color. It's unheard of. In fact, it's such an important aspect of our lives that we give some of the worst people on the planet a big meal of their favorite foods before they end their little visit on something we all know and love as death row. Now, I'm not too much of a person to look into the history of death row or serial killers or anything like that. I'm just caught up by this hypothetical. What would I do if I got a last meal, like after burning down a kitten orphanage that's also conveniently placed next to a regular orphanage that I also burned down in this hypothetical that's saying for the lovely little government people watching me from home, I'm not planning on doing. Those kittens did nothing wrong to my knowledge. Don't know about the other ones. I think something that sparked my interest especially is like the Mythical Kitchen YouTube channel. Every night I dream I can grow this channel and all this content large enough as a personality to be featured on stuff like this. Mythical Kitchen has this sub-series where they interview celebrities and big figures while eating their last meal. That's entirely being chosen by whoever is being interviewed. I think this channel has accidentally taught me that you can learn a lot from a person based on what they order. I look at Steve-O and Steve-O's last meal and I think, yeah, I would imagine that's what Steve-O likes. I don't even know what this bag of stuff is in the back, but yeah, good for him, I guess. Then you got people like Gordon Ramsay, the man infamous for yelling at his workers and chefs, but only in specific situations where he was justified. He's even been recorded as this authentic guy that you can tell when you look at how he interacts with people. But even then, you would expect such an iconic culinary figure to have these high and mighty foods in his last meal. But no, he wants In-N-Out chicken wings. You see what I mean though? Your last meal tells you more about a person than anything astrology ever could. I don't care if you're a Capricorn, I care about how you like your pizza. So I got to thinking and I thought I would finally scratch the itch on the back of my head regarding ideally the last things I want to eat before I go to whatever comes next after death. So I used Mythical Kitchen as a real world standard for this template. I took a look at what realistically was allowed and ignored the price limit. I'm not gonna go for like the most expensive things comprehensible to screw anybody over, but I think it's not fair to have like the Florida $40 limit. For Oklahoma, it's only 25 US dollars. At best, you're getting like bar food, maybe an appetizer for that. Not enough for what I would say should be the last meal. Now, in terms of dishes, this is where I think we're gonna have to start making some limits. As much as I would love to have a huge buffet of food that I could just pick at all day, I can't do that. That's cheating. Mythical Kitchen guests have around 8 to 11 dishes in their lineup, beverages and desserts included. Now, there are two outliers I could note, those being Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Terry Crews. Now, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's last meal consists of 8 bowls of cereal. This is the face of a psychopath. And Terry Crews' lineup is a massive outlier since he has 22 dishes, 23 if you count that little sauce bowl on the left, but I'm not so sure, but it's important to know. Now, Terry is a big guy. He lifts, he's strong, he could probably crush my skull by locking it into his bicep and flexing. So you know what? Fair enough. It makes sense and he could totally eat all of this. Unfortunately for the poor chefs in the back, they don't know what I'm capable of. I'm not gonna be matching Terry's freak, but I saw this as the absolute maximum. Realistically, I could see my combined dishes, drinks, and desserts in total being 15 at the highest. I'm gonna use this time to explain why I went with each specific choice. I'd go over my perfect 6-course lineup of things I would want on my table before I waddle on over to the electric chair or gas chamber or something less wacky. I don't know, a gun seems pretty quick. So first I would want to talk about my beverages of choice. I would go with 3 in specific. We got an exquisite and flavorful cherry Coke, some lemonade, and a good old glass of tall water with exactly 3 ice cubes. Not too cold, but that would be enough to get me through the grand feat that we are about to head into. As for the other drinks, they're more so just my defaults whenever I get something that isn't water. I like getting those 1 liters of brisk lemonade lemonades, and the past couple years I've been having like shots of lemonade when I don't want to have too much sugar. I'm a little bit on the healthier side, so that's just become a habit of mine. As for cherry cokes, I would always get these whenever it was a special occasion, just too good to have milk or water. Like if it was a good day or there was a real solid meal in front of me. Usually those two coincide. It's quite tragic how much of my life is fueled by things that are yummy in my tummy. So already 3 out of 15. This might go wrong, but who cares? It's hypothetical. Course 1. For this entire thing, I decided to go for more of a daily cycle, with the idea that the earlier courses are leaned toward breakfast and lunch, and the dinner stuff is saved for the end. So for my breakfast lineup, I would want bacon along with scrambled eggs and white rice mixed together. In specific, I would want those eggs to have some green onion, red pepper, or jalapenos, not both, along with some shredded cheese and a dabble of red hot sauce, and all of this counts as 2 dishes. I do not care. For the bacon, there's not too much of a reason as to why. Whenever I go to a bar and grill place and I want to get a burger, my go-to is something with a bacon in it. Honestly, the only time I really remember making some is for like Mother's Day, when I would bring breakfast in bed, for example. So I kind of associate bacon with my mom for that reason. This'll be a reoccurring thing. I associate foods with different things. I only get those strips of bacon when I'm visiting home. As for the eggs, it's more just like a go-to. It's easy, it's filling. I've had a ton over the years. It just so happens to be the thing I cook the most, and when it comes to a lineup of eggs, though whenever I crack the egg, I have this weird fear like some little cretin's gonna crawl out and bite my hand or something. No clue as to why, just a quirk that keeps getting looped in my noggin. Course 2. I would want a buffalo chicken salad with ranch along with a chicken tortilla soup. These 2 dishes are more of a recent bundle of foods I keep catching myself craving, and for a few reasons. Now, a couple summers back, I had this internship at a warehouse and office. Not gonna go into detail, but it was just to learn the general corners of business. But on special days when the cool boss was in office, at around the halfway mark of the shift, he would hand me a slip on my desk, and lo and behold, it was this menu for this local grill. And upon looking through this menu, I completely ignored all those barbecued foods at this like place that specifies we are very good at making barbecued food. You should probably get that. Oh, I want this salad. And so on these days, I would then proceed to eat the best buffalo chicken salad of my life that had ranch perfectly mixed into it. It's now a top 10 food for me. As for the chicken tortilla soup, this is more when I was living on a college campus, and it was a pretty traditional selection of campus food when it came to your options to eat things. Your pizzas, your cereal bar, but then in this tiny corner without any workers, there was the soup section, and my little feet scurried on over there, and I had an absolutely insane chicken tortilla soup. It was incredible. I don't know what they put into it, but it was mixed. It had enough spice. It wasn't overwhelming, and it was just enough for the bowl they provided with us. I don't know how this little campus dinner stole my heart, but damn it, it did. And here's where the crazy part came in. We had a daily soup and a weekly soup, and there was a selection of 15 different soups that were daily every other week and then weekly once per semester. And somehow I had discovered this soup on day 2 of its week. Long story short, I ate that chicken tortilla soup 9 more times that week. Course 3. Thai orange chicken and fried rice. A good chunk of these last meal discussions have at least one item that's just fast food or something like that. I was really close to adding the Culver's double butter burger, but in the end I remember this one Thai restaurant like 40 minutes away from my childhood home, and at most we would get it like 3 times a year, I want to say. And those 3 times a year my mom knew what would take me over. I would literally bribe her to spend more money on more food just so I could have more leftovers throughout the week. I love my family. I don't know why she tolerated it, but I'm glad she did. But yeah, this was a great place, and for years I still haven't found anywhere that hits as hard. Maybe someday, I don't know. As for the fried rice, you know, just some variety. I already put white rice in course 1, and that leaves me at 9 out of 15 selections already taken care of. We might be in trouble. Course 4. 1 plate, exactly 1 plate in this course. Not 3. Just 1. I want a medium rare sirloin steak, mashed potatoes, and then a nice bunch of steamed broccoli with like cheese melted on it. Hot sauce is optional here. I would want the option, but this doesn't count. I had to add a beef dish of some sort. This seemed like a good way to do it. It can be cooked in a pan, but I would prefer it grilled and juicy. I always considered myself decent on the grill, or at least better than my dad. Sorry, Dad. Love the guy, but he's made a lot of beef pucks when it's hamburger night over the years. Not me, though. I make a good burger. You just gotta trust me on that one. If you guys ever ever want more flavor in a burger or a steak, my go-to is like some grounded red pepper. Not a lot, but it adds a tiny kick. It goes pretty well. As for the other two, no good reasons for them. I just like a good mashed potato, not out of the box, and I like a good broccoli. You know, I would say it's my favorite vegetable. Not much of competition though. Course 5, and this is a weird one. I want to say 2 plates of spaghetti prepared differently along with some lightly toasted garlic bread. Let's say like 2 pieces, 1 per bowl. This is now 13 out of 15 meals. This was the most important one to me, but I was fortunate enough to grow up with both sets of my grandparents, and because of that, I've had 2 lifetimes of quality cooking from people who tolerate me because I'm related to them. So both of my grandmas, my dad's side and my mom's side, made spaghetti in quotations, but they were completely different in execution. My dad's mom always made more of this protein-based pasta. This one's a bit easier to make, but I never want to make it just so I always have something to look forward to when I come home and visit. This includes some healthier noodles. I don't know what they're called, but I think it's like a wheat long noodle. There's also a more traditional tomato sauce and juice mix. And then to top it off, there's a good amount of ground beef chunks that are not balled up and then doused in the sauce. It's very tasty. I wish I could tell you more, but I don't want to know the secret formula. As for the other spaghetti on my mom's side, that grandma made a very good spaghetti. We lost her around the COVID times, the pandemic, but I'll always have this dish to remember, though I can't quite articulate it in words. My descriptions are kind of fuzzy. The noodles could be more inconsistent. There was bow tie, there was corkscrew. The meatballs were about what you would expect in like a cartoon illustration, with the meatballs, the sauce, the noodles all on a plate. However you just traditionally would imagine spaghetti as a drawing, it looked like that. But this sauce was incredible. It was more of like a sweet sauce with a pinch of spice. No idea what the recipe was. Maybe I want to keep it that way though. As much as I would love to taste it again, I don't know if that's possible because of just the circumstances that are behind this recipe. But maybe someday, you know? Maybe I'll ask for the recipe and recreate it if family members have it. I haven't bothered to ask though, because I think, you know, it just makes it a bit more special. You know, it's stuff like that that I think is just important to keep in your life, even if it sucks a little bit, which in my case it does. You know, I love food and I love that stuff and I crave it all the time, but you know, it's good to wait. And to end it off on course 6, we got some grapes, a piece of bumpy cake, and a Kit Kat. Nothing special, just a Kit Kat. Not even king size, a tiny one that you get in those giant bunches. This technically means my total 16 out of 15, but water doesn't count. We're back to 15. We did it. 15 out of 15. We're good job. Not much to add here, just a good fruit. Red and white grapes, both are fine in this case. I like chocolates, so I wanted some Kit Kats. And then I feel like I need to explain what bumpy cake is. It was either this or a cookie pizza for my dessert, because I think it's the desired range of richness in a cake. My problem with a lot of desserts is they're either too thick or too dry. The cookie pizza thing falls on the same boat. It's too much. Bumpy cake, I think, has just enough of both, so there's no complaints on my end. If this entire selection was the last stuff I got to eat, I would be more than happy with that. I'm just glad that food as a concept even exists. It boggles my mind that no matter what we do, there can be stuff we all like that may or may not kill us based on what you eat. I love food, but I also love taking care of myself. You know, while you're at it, let me know in the comments what your last meal would be. I was considering adding either a Costco or a Home Depot hot dog. I'd love to see if you guys reminded me of something I forgot about. And Mythical Kitchen, please let me come down and eat a last meal. I would give my life for that. I would do a face reveal for that. I mean, that would be funny. I'm not making any promises, never mind. Your last meal stuff sounds delectable enough to change the direction of my life forever. God, I'm still thinking about that chicken tortilla soup.